Welcome to 2018. I want to say Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Those of you watching us in faraway Abuja, Port Harcourt, Ilori, Kano, Kaduna. Those of you watching us via the online channels. Those of you in South Africa, Ghana, London. I want to say thank you so very much. My name is Peter Moche and you're watching Business and Economy Network. Well, for the program rundown today, we are looking at Nigerian economy and the impact of small and medium scale enterprises, how they have evolved over the years. But remember this, the small and medium scale enterprises, they form the backbone for industrialization. But how have they fared over the years? Look at the Asian tigers. Look at even developed economies in France, in America, and you name them. The small and medium scale, they play a vital role. But in Nigeria today, how have they been supported? Has government given them the necessary attention? Has developmental banks, the Bank of Industry, CBN, Bank of Agriculture, have they looked inward? Especially now we are looking at diversifying our economy from oil and gas to other sectors, especially in agriculture. We have a lot of youth who want to take to agriculture and its value chain. What are we doing? Well, with this in mind, we are looking at Nigerian economy, looking at our GDP, looking at the budgets. Everybody have a role to play. For the program rundown today, we have the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Drugfield Pharmaceuticals Limited, a company doing very well in the pharmaceutical stroke health sector in Lagos stroke Ogun State, because they are also in Ota. Well, for special reports, we have a university doing very well in the education sector in Nigeria. We have the Vice Chancellor of Godfrey Okoye University, a university doing very well in faraway Enugu in Southeast Nigeria. For Straight Talk, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have the Director General, Chief Executive Officer of National Automotive Design and Development Council. This is an agency saddled with the responsibility of automotive policy for Nigeria. Well, it's going to be an interesting watch. Relax, brace yourself up, because this program is deep, is incisive, and definitely it will be very educative. I'll be back after this time out.
Use NADDC if you get back pain, oh, muscle pain, oh, I mean a joint pain, rub NADDC, put am go warm, go reach deep down, no wonder NADDC they really pain, rub NADDC, put am go warm, go reach deep down, no wonder NADDC they really pain. True, NADDC it get power pass pain. NADDC na Drugfield Pharmaceuticals Limited they make am.
Nigeria is a middle-mixed economy and emerging market with expanding manufacturing, finance, service, communication, technology, and entertainment sectors. In 2016, Nigeria economy slipped into recession for the first time in more than 2 decades, reflecting adverse economic stocks, inconsistent economic policies, and deepening security challenges in some parts of the country, raising questions for investments for a better economic growth. Nigeria budget execution rate of 51% is not encouraging, as managers of the economy responded to the recession with a package of monetary, fiscal, and exchange rate policies. However, experts have predicted better performance of the Nigerian economy in 2018, with financial analysts saying there will be a tangible improvement in the economy going by the various parameters that support country's revenue sources such as oil and gas, agriculture, and the likes. A source of Central Bank of Nigeria said the monetary policies rate will be at 14%, cash reserves ratio at 22.5%, and liquidity ratio at 30%, with agriculture playing a vital part in 2018, and especially with raw innovation in biotechnology in agriculture. It is expected that the issue of food security can be well harnessed if well implemented in the budget for 2018.
Well, it's a blessing and an opportunity, to be able to acquire this knowledge over the years and be able to translate it, into what we are today. And I wasn't doing it alone anyway. But as we're going, some of the people we work together at Pfizer, here and there, decided to come on board, to work together, to bring the experience together. Because Drugfield is a 100% Nigerian company. We don't have any foreign partner. no foreign partner, whether technical or commercial or financial, zero. We are all 100% Nigerian company. It's our own from the scratch. But of course, along the line, having worked for Pfizer, I also had the opportunity of meeting some technical people. And right now I have a company, the owner used to be a staff of Pfizer many years ago, an Austrian. He worked for Pfizer International, was building factories for Pfizer in South Africa, in Nigeria here, in Indonesia, in Malaysia, and around the world. So somehow, when I joined Pfizer, we came to know each other. And after that, the relationship developed. And we're like family friends now. So technically, he also offers a lot of advice, gets involved. Many of our new factory designs are done in Austria, actually. Some of our equipment are selected, from Europe, like the air handling units, because some of these are like the soul of the business. You don't want to mess around with, play games with, such things. So we have been blessed in so many ways, and that's who we are. At Pfizer, had a lot of experience. We made Feldin gel at that time, and I made a lot of it. Now, by the time we saw that adverts in the papers and through PMG Man that USAID, in partnership with USP, United States Pharmacopoeia, were looking for local companies who would show interest in making chlorhexidine gel. At that time, we already had about 4 of our own products in gel form. We have Nirozicam gel, we had diclofenac gel, we had, the one for gum, we had 4 products, at least in gel form. So we just said, oh, this is, our, comfort, zone. So we showed interest. And in fact, immediately we read, and we wrote to them that we started work, because we then knew that it was one of the important essential commodities of the United Nations. So we went on the internet, we saw some work that had been done by Pat and a company, Lomus, and then we saw the formulation was there, very simple product. And then we put things together. By the time the United States Pharmacopoeia, USP, and PAT came to visit us, we were at the verge of producing the product. We had put everything together. They were surprised. And then within a twinkle of an eye, we made a product. We even took samples to USP office in Washington. They were so excited. The challenges have been many. I mean, I don't want to talk about infrastructure because we all know it, electricity, water, roads, I mean, we have to generate our own electricity, generate our own water, carry our own goods all around the country. But of course, we know how the cost of funding is, how high it is. But I think the most, unfortunate of all these challenges is even coming from our government. Number one, patronage is almost little or nothing. And we all know that government is the biggest spender in this country. And when you even labor and get government to buy some of your products, they don't pay you. You won't believe it that in 2013, during the emergency flood, we got an order to supply the federal government of Nigeria some drugs. And they said, oh, before the end of the year, that was in October, by November you get your money. Up until now, we have not received 1 kobo. So you now ask yourself, what manner of a country is that? We are not the only one anyway. Many of our members, PMG man, were being owed billions that our own government will buy from us and will not pay us. So how do they want us to grow? How do they want us to survive? When you have to borrow money from the bank at very high interest rate, I think it's unfair. And not only that, there is practically little or no protection. The door is open to anyone to bring in all manner of drugs. You know, when the late Director General Akinle was there, she did something which was very patriotic. She said, if you are an importer of finished drugs into Nigeria, she gave 10 years. We give you certificate for the first certificate will last 5 years, we renew it. After that, you must produce the product here. I think it's one of the most patriotic things any Nigerian could have done. But what do we have today? It's been thrown overboard. Not only that, there are quite a number of products that we have more than enough capacity not only to produce for Nigeria, but even the entire sub-region of West Africa, Nigeria will supply without blinking an eye. Some of these, after some lobbying, governments put some restrictions on them. Less than 20 products. We have been pleading and begging to increase this over the years now without success. Ghana, their population is less than 30 million. Ghana has an import restriction of pharmaceutical products, 49 different products. Nigeria has less than 20. That's why this sector is the most endangered now. The pharmaceutical manufacturing sector in Nigeria is the most endangered sector. And unfortunately, people always say after food is drugs, but our leaders are not seeing it that way. Look at what they are doing with food now, rice. They shut the door, and people are growing rice. That is the way to go. India did that many years ago. So why can't we do that with a sector like pharmaceuticals to say, hey, if you have been importing a product into this country for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and you refuse to, and you are making a lot of money, and you refuse to build a factory here, you shut it out.
You are a private university in Nigeria. You see, you get approval from the Federal Executive Council, from the president himself. That means the university must be open to all Nigerians, irrespective of their faith. You cannot discriminate against anybody on grounds of faith or grounds of origin and all that. You can do that. You cannot do that in any Nigerian university. So that's very, very important. Here in this university, we have students from the north, we have students from the west, we have the students from the south, southeast and all that. We have Muslims here, we have Christians here, we have those who believe in African traditional religion here and all that. But we have what we call common principles. Okay, we have things we have agreed to do. These things are set out in the rules and regulations of the university, set out in the law, university law and all that. So once you follow this, you can practice your religion. So our university is open to all religions. Of course, it's a Catholic university because it's driven by the Catholic Church, because it stands on the foundation of Catholic values and all that. But it's open to all Nigerians. Biotech is about our life. It's about humanity. It's about promotion of life. It's about a better life. In agricultural biotechnology is about improving the agricultural products and getting better yields and all that. So it's all about what helps us to live. I'm interested in the whole idea of life. in the whole idea of improving life, in the whole idea of making life better, in the whole idea of trying to understand life. And that's precisely what biotechnology is doing. We're interested in DNA sequencing because we want to understand the tropical plants. Some of them have never received any name, any recognition from anybody in the world. So we want to say these plants exist. I want to understand these plants and what they can be used for. We're interested in a DNA sequencing of tropical fish. Okay, some of these species of fish can be very helpful in treatment of some diseases. We want to understand them. That's very, very important. We want to see how biotech can improve agriculture, because I'm a farmer, actually. If you go there now, you see, go university rice. I want to see how biotech can help me improve with my farm products and all that. So it's all about my interest in life, my interest in the progress of humanity, my interest in improving things around us and in our nation. That's actually what is driving me. I've always loved biology as a young man. Biology was my favorite subject at school. Biotechnology is one field where we are taking the lead in Nigeria. First of all, we have an intensive collaboration with Bowie State University in Maryland. We have an intensive collaboration with Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory in New York. And we have joint workshops. We're going to have one in January, another one in February this year, where we invite Nigerians. You can see the lab. We have equipment. You can't imagine that it's a university like ours. We have the kind of equipment we have there. And we are leading in DNA sequencing of tropical plants and tropical fish. We are leading there. Okay, we are leading in so many areas of biotechnology in this country. And we'll try to provide some training to Nigerians in the field of biotechnology. We have identified this field as one of our signature programs, and that's why we're investing in it. And our friends outside the country are also very much interested in what we're doing. By the grace of God, within the next 2 years, we are going to have the biggest DNA learning center in Africa here in this university. This is the contribution of our friends. We have a very good friend, Dave Miklos, who is the director of Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory in New York. He's the one pushing that. We have 2 such centers, one in Europe, one in Asia, and the third one is going to be built here in this university. We've been actually trying to make biotechnology attractive to Nigerians, and that's the whole idea of this training we have 2 or 3 times a year, so that Nigerians in other institutions will come and see what we're doing and make use of the equipment we have, of course, in our laboratories. And our labs are open to Nigerians who are doing their master's and PhD, the ones who can come here and run your experiments. The system of agriculture here is a system used by our fathers 200, 300 years ago. We have not grown in our agricultural system. First of all, land use. Look at the issue of land. You know, how do you allocate land to farmers and all that? What's the process of allocation of land? Land is still a problem. And then you hear about herdsmen destroying farm and all that. So you ask yourself, what do you want? Do you really want to have food or not? So the issue of land, the issue of relationship of the farmers, whether they are cattle farmers and all that, must be properly defined. And then we move from there to modern ways of farming. In Austria, for you to be a farmer, you need to undergo some process of training. You have to be trained. You don't own a farm because your father has got money. You must study agriculture or do some training in agriculture and have a certificate. And then you understand how it works. So this is what we can do. We can train our farmers. They can go to school. They can, understand the mechanism of modern farming, and then they'll be able to get better yields in their farm. So for us to achieve food security, we simply have to look into. We've been paying lip service to it. It's all about oil and all that. And then very soon, oil will be peanut. Very soon. I don't know whether we are watching it. I'm just shocked that we are still investing in oil. It's a shocking thing to me. We can't be investing in oil. Oil is gone. In the next 5-10 years, it's gone. Germany, many European countries have said, we are not interested in petrol, diesel, oil, diesel. We are interested in electro cars and all that. Very soon, even the aeroplanes will be using electricity and all that, and solar. So who is going to be buying your oil? You're going to be begging people to buy your oil. So why are we investing there? Why are we discovering oil fields and all that? Go to a boy where you have a lot of mineral resources. Invest in farming, because that's the future of society. If everybody gets food, then there will be security. People are hungry, and that's why they cry for division and all that, and they shoot guns and all. They're hungry. Give them food, feed everybody, give everybody minimum wage and all that, and everything will stop. People will be calm. Human beings are not so complicated the way we think.
Well, right from school, all the projects that we were given, every opportunity I had, I designed vehicles for Nigeria and Africa. Vehicles that would be in tune with our culture, climate, and terrain. The types of vehicles that really we don't have, but that we need. So right from the beginning, my emphasis was how do I make the transportation sector in Nigeria better by coming up with newer, unique solutions. When I got hired by GM, I worked for a little while at the headquarters. Then I was sent to Germany for about 2 years. All the while, I tried to really reorient my learning and continuous development towards vehicles that would be efficient and vehicles that would really add value to the end user. So I've worked on a number of programs, all the way from pickup trucks, big utility trucks, a Silverado, all the way from them to the Camaro that was featured in the Bumblebee movie. But the most exciting was the Chevrolet Volt electric car, which, as you know, kind of just ushered in a whole new era in the automotive industry. It was a very exciting project, one that I feel I had been preparing for a very long time, because I've always believed in looking into the future, coming up with unique solutions that will add value to humanity in general. If we look at the automotive sector globally, it's really exciting. You have vehicles like the Ferrari LaFerrari, hybrid supercar, hypercar as they call them. You have, Tesla of the United States just unveiled a 500-mile, 100% electric semi-truck. This is the excitement happening around the world. Great vehicles. But unfortunately, the average Nigerian is cut out of this excitement. And the average Nigerian has to, make by with old and dilapidated vehicles that were first registered maybe 10, 20 years ago in other countries. So a major objective of the NADDC is to ensure that Nigerians have access to millions of brand new vehicles, not these old ones, and that they are affordable. And then also, not just to produce vehicles, but for Nigerians to be part of that developmental and innovative phase of vehicles, so that the vehicles that we have on our roads would be those that we understand, would be those that understand us. So in order for that to happen, we must take our youth, empower them to become designers and innovators of exciting transportation solutions. So the objective of the NADDC is to build capacity, to see that we produce vehicles in Nigeria enough to feed the market. The automotive policy, the NAIDP, is set and strategized to promote the production of vehicles within the country and to guard against the unfair importation of substandard vehicles. Now, as a policy, it means no matter how good it is, no matter how productive it is, how protective it is, it can be overturned. But now, in the last couple of weeks, that policy has been passed as a bill on its way to becoming law. That means it's going to be sustainable. With that, foreign investors, Nigerian investors will be protected. NADDC and all relevant stakeholders, customs, Ministry of Finance, are now in a position to really enforce the protection, to be in the best position to give out, these tax incentives and to keep all these substandard vehicles from coming into Nigeria. So now with that bill passed, we are in a better position to really promote local production. Innocent just unveiled a number of new vehicles not too long ago, a couple of days ago. So it's really very good to see that level of commitment towards the development of the industry. NADDC is set up to support any one of these companies that wants to either expand or go into credible production. So we have a vehicle that we can work with towards enabling them to get the necessary support that they need. And then on the other side, we're also working to make it easy for the market to absorb their vehicles in terms of a vehicle financing scheme. As you're aware, in Nigeria now, if you want to buy a new vehicle, you have to go with 100% of the value of that vehicle. In other places, you put down 5–10%, you drive it off, and then you pay over time. So we're working with very credible and very committed financial institutions, both within and outside Nigeria, to offer a credit finance scheme for Nigerians so that they can buy made-in-Nigeria vehicles.
Well, this is where time will permit us. But remember, I often say this. With focus, determination, perseverance, definitely, the sky will be your limit. In 2018, what are your goals? What are your objectives? And what do you want to achieve? Make sure your goals are measurable. And make sure you appraise yourself on daily basis, on weekly basis, on quarterly basis, and also yearly. Because January is going to come, it's going to go. And December will definitely come. All right, you've heard what the experts have said. They started small and they have evolved to where they are today. You can start small today and evolve to become something great by December 2018. I will see you same time next week, God's willing. Stay blessed.